On the table today at Squirrel Stampede, what is going on with Mikey's hair? Mikey has hair? I knew the Ninja Turtles had ears, but hair? Well, we've got the second and third waves of Ninja Turtles of Grayskull on the table. I'm trying to complete my Ninja Turtle collection part of this very expansive series. I did not think this series would last so long, but I think it's going to go even to a fourth wave. We've got the Turtles today, and we've got the villains, Skeletor and Shredder, to take a look at, and a few other surprises. It's a wild series, but the squirrels seem to enjoy throwing Blade down with them and fighting. They seem to like the action there, so... What a collection. Follow through as we go through one of the oddest crossovers of the year.
Squirrel Stampede.
Please like,
Share, and Squirrel Live.
This is Turtles of Grayskull, Michelangelo, heroic captain of Cowabunga, and I think my favorite in the collection. He looks jokey silly. I think too many of these have come out way too serious, and this just matches the Turtles' disguise theme pretty good. And it's playing off one of my most favorite He-Man styles, the battle armor. Love the battle armor. He-Man probably likes it too. A little more cover up. The hair, it's just cracking me up. This is still such a weird crossover. Over on the back of the pack, oh no, Hordak's involved with this too. I'm trying to keep this low key and not pick up too many. Just the 4 turtles, a couple villains would be the best. This current new fall wave has Michelangelo, Casey Jones, and Skeletor, which I have found. Tila is a little tricky to find. Is she supposed to be April? I'm not sure. They've kind of doubled these up in a weird way. Ah, the press-on He-Man wig, of course. I think Mikey will help really fill in the turtle force, so let's get this one out of pack. And Heroic Mikey out. First thoughts, pretty good figures, but way overpriced. They typically run $20. That's like twice your regular Ninja Turtle find. And in some ways, the way Mattel constructs these and pieces them together parts-wise, they feel like they should be a little lower cost. We're not talking that well designed. Mikey is my favorite though. This one is the best turtle. Took them a couple waves to get it going. It has to be all about that hair, am I right? That may be one of the silliest things we've seen all year. The detachable wig from Michelangelo's head there. Whoa. Oh my, watch out. So yeah, and I suppose, I kind of thought Leo was the one playing off He-Man, so you can also possibly place this on the other turtles. There's Leo, though he can't see very well because of his bandana there. Don't think it'll fit Donnie. Donnie already has this thing going. So it's mainly going to work with Mikey. That is just so silly. As for the rest of his Eternian garb, he's got some nice armor up top, battle armor up top, somewhat of a loin battlecloth belt, maybe some He-Man inspired top of socks but not bottom, and then otherwise Mikey. Also with chain chunks, plastic chain style chucks, not chunks. They're really sticky together, but I like the fact that they tried to attempt it. Oh, he's so funny. There is a continuation of the comic inside each pack that's very Masters of the Universe like. Last time I pulled one without the text, it was very odd. I couldn't even understand what was going on. There is so much lore here. I can't remember now. The Turtles ended up in Eternia times, and there's some sort of mutagen ooze happening with He-Man. He-Man had kidnapped Skeletor. Oh boy, there's a lot going on. But for now, let's have some more fun. Let's check out Raph. Raph was actually from a previous wave, the second wave, I think. I believe we're kind of looking at wave 2 and 3 today. Raph was in wave 2. He has kind of got the Masters Ram Man style going with him. That kind of works with Strongman Raph. And wave 2 wasn't very strong, only including one turtle Raph there. Shredder's involved, but Ram Man and Beast Man were just like, ugh. Great imagery though, it's so classic Masters style. The Turtles tracked Shredder back to Krang's Technodrome. Raph charged headfirst into the fray before a flash sent them to Eternia. Now adorned in Ram Man's spare armor, Raph's back to tracking Shredhead and looking for a way back home. So kind of a story going there. I'm just glad to complete the main turtle collection. I think together they will be fun. So shelling Raph out of pack. And Raph with spikes, out of pack. Raph might be one of those rare occasions where the figure actually looks better outside of pack than inside. I am really impressed with this one, and it matches Raph's character pretty well. Can we remove this helmet, by the way? I'd like to kind of see him without it. He's very hidden underneath, so that's perfect. I'm glad that's removable, although it did leave some paint scarring. He's in that Ram Man style garb that I'm gonna just slam into you and break you. But he also has his signature Psy weaponry, just a little bit elongated, almost shredderized. This fork feels like something more that Shredder would wield, right? And again, all of these have this strange Mattel-like pieced together part feel. In fact, you can even take these apart a little bit and redress. I think you could take off loincloths if you do not like them. They're all very pieced together in a way, giving them kind of a feel of they should have been lower price, but then yet still looking good. Am I making sense? Maybe it's just because this is a Mattel line and not a Playmates toy line, so we're used to one way of Turtles and now we're seeing another way, a little more solid, a little more articulated, detailed way, whereas Playmates goes for a cost-efficient sell of a turtle, which I kind of like better. But then we've got this weird crossover, which is just so crazy fun. Oh, and most of these, I think all of these, have a detachable shell and you may use for a shield. So you can pop the shell off and then place into their hands as an extra shield. So they're very versatile action figures, lots of fun. And well, since Raph was Wave 2, maybe this comic would actually kind of like fill in the lore. I jumped ahead, so I just don't know what's going on. But I'm glad they included this. This was kind of how they did the old days before you could get a comic or a cartoon show out. You would do a quick little mini comic, and then that way when you got the toy, you kind of knew what was going on. And it was funny in the early Masters days. They were forced to keep updating the lore, making things really confusing. So Raph is here now, all turtles collected, with Mikey and Leo kind of with the He-Man theme, and Donnie over here with the ridiculously long bow staff, going for the man-at-arms bow staff thing. They are sure a sight to see. Let's look at a few more before we group them too close together. So usually when you're collecting turtles and you've found all four, the very next figure is the Shredder. That's the one you want to fight with. The Shredder, yeah, it's actual the Shredder from the universe of Masters somehow moved over. I think really to unconfuse myself, all the Ninja Turtle-verse figures are Ninja-verse figures, transported, phased, morphed into the Masters verse, then just wearing their styled armor. And you can see there's other characters, like here's a Ram Man who is actually Ram Man, but he's been mutated with the mutagen. Am I making any sense? I'm not making any sense. Well, Shredder here was Wave 2. He was the better of the 4 in Wave 2. And look at that sci-fi fantasy imagery. One of my favorite themes. I think that's why I like Lego Nexo Knight so much. I think I did see a Splinter out there. He's in one of those deluxe packs though. And if you thought spending $20 for one of these figures was crazy, then spending say $25, $30 for a larger figure is even more crazy. So I'm not sure if I'll do a Splinter. If I do, it would probably be the last figure I would pick up out of this series because I'm pretty much done. It was fun, but I kind of want to just say, keep my turtles and my masters separated. It's going to be a rare thing that I need to have them combined. Great looking Shredder. It's very Super Shredder, wouldn't you say? He's so bulked up. So if you're looking for a Super Shredder figure, this one's your man. Alright, well let's get him out. I'm excited to see there's always something interesting with Shredder's cape. Okay, in this instance, this might be my most favorite Shredder figure ever. Over the years, there always seems to be something that spoils the balance of a Shredder figure. Whether it's the vintage and he's all hunched down to match the turtle's height, or some of the Nickelodeon-verse Shredders, where his cape always falls off, or he doesn't stand very well, he falls down, he doesn't look strong enough, he's just awkward balanced. Well, in this case, this may be the most balanced Shredder. He does have webbed feet though, we may have to work on that. But he's so Super Shredder, it's awesome. Yeah, maybe a little bit too muscular, but he's just standing so well. I like that he's really full of shredded out armor and it's hammered in with a metallic look. It's kind of making his arms a little bit tight here and there, but it looks good. His central chest plate, very Masters, kind of Horde-like. Great, fantastic looking headpiece, almost Trapjaw-like. The cape on his back is holding tight. It's connected on into his whole harness there. and that has always been a problem with Shredder over the years, is how is his cape going to function? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I've had many a Shredder where the cape likes to fall off. I've had many a Shredders where the helmet likes to fall off easily too, and well, in this case, it's just his head, the helmet on top over his head. There's nothing there underneath. So, and then for his master's inspired legs, he's got the fuzzy loincloth, more Shredder armor on those shins, and the duck feet. Wild axe weaponry, and one of these funny doodads. These often used to come with your master's horde figures from the She-Ra verse, and you would just click them in like this, and it makes for a very strange crossbow punch. Like trying to measure the distance of that punch. How far does it go? Wow. But I think when you say playing it up with a figure, you get right in close and then, well, play around with that. So very impressed with Shredder I am.
I'll think of plans to get you turtles later.
And the other two figures of Masterverse Turtles I wanted to share with you today, Casey Jones, and we'll get to Skeletor in just a second. One-man weapon rack is Casey Jones. Casey, kind of like Shredder too, where over the years there has been something that kind of spoils down the figure. You always want Casey Jones to be armed with a lot of accessories. That's how it was in the early days, so I think that may be the case here. And I kind of like seeing him just super overly aggressively muscled out. Over on the back, favorite part, looking at some of the imagery here, Casey trying to help the sorceress up front. Sounds like something Casey would do. We got Trapjaw with the Mousers. Trapjaw with the Mousers, so far the only large figure I picked up. He was on reduced price clearance, and this might be the way to get these large scale figures because they do not sell. They're just too big, too expensive. If you get enough of them, it builds a real Metal Vato character, which would be so cool to see. But some of the others of these have been pretty overpriced. So, you know, kind of just look around for deals on these. And what do we got here? Back on Earth, Casey Jones fights baddies as a hockey-masked vigilante using whatever sports gear he can fit into his bag. Now that he's on Eternia, he loads up on Castle Grayskull's best battle equipment to join the fight against the Krang and Skeletor. They really went all out with these. I'm surprised we made it to wave 3, honestly. I feel like there's two camps. There's a big Turtles camp that love their Turtles. There's a big Masters camp that love their Masters. But forging them together hasn't exactly worked. That Venn diagram creates a very small sliver of people, which I guess I'm in. What do you think? What do you think? I know I have more Turtle fans at Squirrel Stampede. Are any of you Turtle fans picking up any of these figures? Alright, let's see Casey out. This might be one of those rare cases where even if you're a fan of neither franchise, you might really like this figure. Oh yeah, this is awesome. This is what Casey Jones is all about. It's always funny, it's like, is this guy really from the Turtles verse? Because there's so much verse going on that he fits in kind of oddly, but look at this figure, he's so full of accessories. Like I said, you do not have to be a fan of either franchise to pick this figure up. This is totally a beast of action figure, any series. Wait, did Casey come with the giant hammer, or was that Raph? He has the spiked hockey stick, the golden spear, one of the classic He-Man karate chop hands, and an axe-bladed weapon, and I think these are going to attach to his hands. We'll test that out in a minute. Oh, and a samurai sword. I mean, he's loaded. He's loaded with accessories. The only thing I don't like about this figure so far is kind of a creepy face. He's trying to be both handsome and tough at the same time, and it kind of like, I just want to put this back on. There, let's not look at his face. But again, armored out in Masterverse style, but with more like a turtle thing going. A turtle shell on his shoulder, a little more futuristic belt there on his backpack, probably something Man-at-Arms designed. Man-at-Arms and styled shin cuff. Funny green socks there, they're a little bit bright. But otherwise, Casey coloring. And yes, you always just fill in his golf bag full of all these accessories. I mean, this guy is worth the price. Some of these you're like, 20 is going to be high, but this guy, you're getting so much stuff with it, it's pretty much worth it. Well, let's try these hands. I think you can pop off these hands and knock all the accessories across the table in doing so, and then replace with this cool, why is the character's name escaping me? Why is his name escaping me? Jitsu, this guy, the one guy that for some reason Target still has on their shelves for like the last 2 or 3 years. Usually Target is really good at clearancing out stuff that doesn't sell, but for some reason you still see him, Sorceress, Stratos, was it? You just keep seeing those 4 forever and ever. But that's got that classic chop of gold to compete with. And let's see if we can pop this hand off. Now that I've knocked all his weapons into the ventilation vent, we can place this on. Poor Casey, what is going on? Who's torturing Casey? Did I get that on? It's starting to feel weak. You can also implant an axe onto his hand. Very Ash Army of Darkness like. Well, I'm so super impressed with this figure. I say totally look for it. It really feels like one of the few figures in this series that's worth everything that comes in that box. And the final figure that I think I will finish up my collection with, unless I find a splinter. It's a Turtles of Grayskull Skeletor. Impressive evil samurai of destruction. This is a very nice rave blacklight fluorescent Skeletor look. They really spared no expense on this one for sure. Over on the back, why is he on to poor Donnie? Oh, there we go. Raph's back there. I see Mikey in the back and Leo. There's Leo. So he's just, for some reason, Donnie's up front there. Time and time again, Skeletor attempted to destroy He-Man only to fail, until that is the fateful day he crossed paths with an evil alien named Krang. Now with He-Man out of the way, Skeletor's path to controlling the power of Grayskull is finally clear. And so, yeah. Let's see Skeletor out of the box to take on the Turtles. And Skeletor ribbed cage ripped out of pack. A pretty impressive Turtles of Grayskull inspired Skeletor, a pretty wild and neon detailed figure here. Funny how sometimes they go with like a basic Skeletor and then other times they'll go with like this one where he's a little more advanced, armored up with that samurai gear. Has a mutagen ooze bottle, and look at this weapon. It's a ram skull nunchuckian sai thingy with a spike. And more of that plastic chain. I like the plastic chain work. Chain could have been slightly larger, but wow, what an accessory to wield. Pretty good cape too, kind of like a tethered, ripped apart cape piece, and it's nicely solidified onto his neck piece there, so it's not gonna fall off. That is really helpful. So wow, oh wow on Skeletor here. I have a feeling some of these figures will be kind of lost in the moment, and then in a few years be very sought after. Probably should not have opened them. Should have placed them in a box full of bubble wrap. In a library vaulted, controlled temperatured dungeon. So there we go, finishing up my Masters Turtles collection. Like I said earlier, I was just kind of wanted to start with the Turtles. I figured that's really all they were going to do. I had no idea they were going to do so much. I thought to assume that this third wave would be the final wave as you finally have all 4 Turtles who you're looking for. But according to the back comic here, there is a continuation. Next, Volume 4, He-Man in a half shell. And yeah, we have not really seen a He-Man figure other than the evil mutagen dies He-Man. Poor He-Man there. But that's a great figure, by the way. So I guess there's one more round. I'm not sure what I will be interested in that final round, if we'll go around with it or not. But I just wanted to see the Turtles collected and grouped together, as it's such a funny grouping. Oh, as for the blacklight party, I almost forgot. Look at He-Man glowing, his muscles abound, except for maybe his central muscles there. That works really well. And then Skeletor, I had to see what was going on with Skeletor with all that neon. That works perfectly. I don't think any of the others, maybe Casey Jones back there with his blue shirt. He's got a blue shirt that really glows. And, Raph back there with his red, and Mikey with his orange does light up, but yeah, I had to see Skeletor with the cool effects there. And there we go. What say the collection is pretty much completed for me. I may pick up another one or so, but that's the Turtles of Grayskull, one of the oddest combiner mashup series I've seen in a long time. If you liked today's video, please give us a squawk, squirrel eye, but squam at your favorite crossover Turtles figure. Don't forget we still have Squirrel Stampede merch out there, t-shirts, water bottles, plush Landry, stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching. That's what I have to say about that. Now with fear, he's clear. You can pull it back by itself.
Oh no!
Maybe not do that.